In this video, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison of the Facebook ad platform and the TikTok ad platform. The reason being is if you can understand the targeting and the setup across one platform on social media, then you can understand the majority of them. So let me go through this and show you just how simple it can actually be. Let's dive in. Okay, so when it comes to social media advertising, and realistically a lot of advertising in general, if you can get your head around the ad platform and the setup, so it's called a DSP, which stands for Demand Side Platform, and that's where you build your ad campaign from. Now, if you can understand one platform, you can understand most of them because they're all very, very similar. So let's have a look at this. So we've got Facebook ad campaign here. You will select a campaign objective: sales, leads, engagement, app promotion, traffic, awareness, right? Now let's look at TikTok. Reach, traffic, video views, community interaction, app promotion, lead generation, website conversions. Quite similar. Now, I've even put up the Twitter ads manager. I've never run any ads on Twitter, but I feel like it could be a good time to do it because Elon Musk's taken over, and I think there's some few changes in the back end to the ad platform. It could be worth throwing a couple of $100 at and seeing what happens. You really just have to understand how your audience interacts with content on that platform. So let's have a look at this. So we've got reach, video views, pre-roll views, app installs, website traffic, engagements, keywords, conversions, app re-engagements. So these are all fairly similar. So we've got awareness over here, which as you can see, you've got reach, brand awareness, video views, store location awareness. Over here, you've got reach, and that's going to show you add to the maximum number of people. It can be static or video. I'd assume if you're going to be advertising on TikTok, you'd want it to be a video as it's a video platform. With Twitter, you've got reach as well. Most of us are going to be wanting to be generating leads. So let's have a look over here. Leads. Now Twitter, not so much. They don't seem to have a setup for lead generation. So I'd probably go one step up the funnel to start with, and I'd start with website traffic. The reason is the lower down the funnel you get, so you've got, this is the top of the funnel, which is the awareness section, then you've got consideration, then you've got intent or conversion. Now the lower end of the funnel is generally where people are going to be spending money, and if the platform knows that people are going to be spending money, they're going to charge you more to engage with that particular browser, that particular prospect. So if you're just starting out, it's a good method to stay in this consideration element of the funnel because the platforms are quite advanced. They know how to find people who are your target market, and then it's up to you to put the right content in front of them to influence them to take the action that you want. That's what I do if you're advertising on Twitter. For this setup, we're just going to have a look at TikTok and Facebook because they can both run lead generation campaigns. So let's have a look at how similar they are. So we go for leads. Let's go continue. I'm always going to recommend a manual campaign because I want to have as much control as possible. If you're just starting out, you could do a tailored leads campaign and let the platform do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. I prefer to have a bit more control. That's just me. Now with TikTok, we select leads. So manual leads campaign over here. I'll set them both up at the same time to just show the similarities here. So obviously you want to name it, campaign objective leads. That's pretty much it for the campaign level. So you've got 3 levels: campaign, ad set, ad level. So the campaign level, you're just giving it the basic options to get it started. Advantage campaign budget will split your budget across your ad sets. Slightly more advanced, if you're just testing, I probably recommend leaving that off so you can see which ad sets are working best and distribute your budget evenly. Over here within TikTok, you can also select campaign budget optimization as well, which will set it across your ad sets. So they require at least a $50 budget. So we'll set them both up with a $50 budget. So after that, we're going to go into the ad set over here. So these are the things that we want to look at. Where is the conversion location that lead's going to be generated? Messenger, I say instant forms. These are slightly more pricey. Realistically, it'd probably be a good idea to go instant forms and Messenger, but it depends if you've got the capacity to be responding to people on Messenger. Sometimes you may need to have a third-party setup like Zapier to alert you to when a new message has come in, because a lot of the time Facebook notifications aren't that trustworthy when you've got ads running. If we were to look at that again against TikTok, we can just go straight into continue. So this is realistically the ad set level, and they call it ad group. Now what we're going to do, we're going to focus on the home improvement niche. So decks and pergolas, carpentry within the house, customizing spaces. So we're going to test these against each other, in theory, with instant forms. So instant form over here. And what that means is people don't have to leave the ad platform and then potentially be confused on your website. And what the platform will do is it will locate people who are most likely to submit their details. The way they do that is by data mining. So all of their pixels that are installed on different websites feeds information back to the platform. And that's how they get to know about the audience. And then they've also got the accounts that feed data back to them as well. So we're now looking at the audience section. Now across most DSPs or platform setups, you can select some fairly detailed targeting. So let's look at Facebook. So we'll set these budgets the same. Location, we're going to go Australia. Location, Australia. Language is all. Age is all. Now for audiences on TikTok or Facebook, we don't have any custom audiences or lookalike audiences as yet. We haven't driven any data to any offers, so we don't have that data. Interests and behaviors. So this is really handy. This is exactly what Facebook does. The way that they manage their data within their platforms is probably quite different, but the outcome is what you're trying to get, yeah? So over here with the Advantage Plus audience, you can put in an audience suggestion. So down here where you've got detailed targeting, we're gonna put in home improvement. There we go, huge audience, 335 million. Now across our geo, which is Australia, the population of Australia is about 25 million, so we're gonna reach the majority of people. But then that's kind of scaled back to our budget. So for $50 a day, we're not gonna reach 22 million people, but we're gonna reach a significant enough portion of that to gather some data and then make some decisions based off that. So we've set our targeting as home improvement. Let's go and see what TikTok has. Now this is interesting. They have interest, purchase intention, and then additional interests. It's a fairly large audience. That's an enormous audience. I'm gonna add them both in. And then they've got hashtags that you can add in there as well. Now device, we're gonna leave all devices in there, which is the factory setting sort of set up. I look across Facebook as well. Targeting expansion, I generally want to leave this off because I don't want the platform to be reaching people that aren't my desired audience. So if we turn the targeting expansion off, that still looks fine. Our budget of 50 gets us less than 10 leads. I always like to play around with this and just see what the cost per lead is that they're estimating. So let's say 54 leads. Let's go 500 divide 54. So you're looking at about $9 a lead, or worst case scenario, in theory, 500 divided by 18, $27 a lead. Now within the home improvement space, these jobs may be $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000. So the return on investment here is really, really good if you can manage a budget. So at the start, I always recommend leaving day parting off because you don't know what time of day people are going to be most interested in your ads. Now we'll go back to Facebook, make sure we've got it set up in a similar manner. Now with Facebook, I will generally select where I want my my ads to appear. We want placements. So I'll always do manual placements across Facebook because look, for multi-million-dollar corporations, they will use Audience Network, Instagram. Big advertising agencies use this because they can afford to have wastage. But if we're solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, we can't really afford to have that wastage. So I get rid of that Audience Network. I think it's a waste. I think these are a waste as well. So I'll turn those off. I'll turn search results off. And I'll always bring this down, have a look. They recommend that you use at least 6 placements. So over here, I'll get rid of this, I'll get rid of this, I'll get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. Facebook feed, Instagram feed, that's all that we really want as far as the feeds go. And then the stories and reels, which gives us 6 placements. So for $50, we're looking at 2 to 13 leads. If we're paying $50 and getting 2 to 13 leads, realistically, that looks better than TikTok at the moment. But you don't know until you launch the campaign, because it is dictated by your creative, your audience targeting, your ad setup, your headlines, and how you communicate with your audience. So this is a guess, assuming you set up your ads okay. I'd leave this off to start with, because that will mean that Facebook is reaching people that are potentially outside of your targeted demographics, your desired demographics. And you gotta remember, these ad platforms are set up so they make money. And if they can make you money in the process, great, but it's them first, you second. Never forget that. Back to TikTok. So we want to leave lowest cost on. Always have a look at the advanced settings. Don't really need to worry about any of that. And then we'll go next. Pretty happy with how that's set up over Facebook. I generally leave the age targeting open, because after a week or two, we can then go, okay, which demographics, genders, age groups engage with our ads best. However, I will always recommend going for English. Doesn't do much to the audience size, but you want to make sure that you're communicating with people that you can actually communicate with, if that makes sense. Then we go down into the ad. You've got a few different things that you can do here when it comes to your actual creative setup. And this is a bit more open to creativity, open to interpretation as well. You do need to make sure that you're communicating your message to the audience. So generally, people will look at the ad creative, then the headline, and then the primary text, which is the description, basically. It's confusing that they put the description here, but that's not it. For example, so I use ChatGPT to write ads for me, and sometimes it doesn't work, so I always ask it, are you there? Yes. So I'll ask it. I use this as a guide. A lot of time I will never use exactly what comes out of ChatGPT, because I swear that the C in ChatGPT sometimes stands for cheesy. A lot of this stuff that it spits out can be incredibly cheesy. And then I'll ask it for some variations with different angles. And it'll tell you what the angle is, which is really cool. Nature lovers, customization, seasonal appeal. They're all really good angles. So you could potentially split test the 5 of these. You could ask it to rewrite this a couple of times until it gives you something that you're happy with, or you can use it as inspiration and write your own, right? So I'm not going to go through and actually set up all of these ads because I don't have creative ready to go for these. But what you would want to do, put a video together that showcases what you or your client does, what the main benefits are, and then a call to action. Inquire now, get a free quote, book today, stuff like that.